Okay, guys, so the first thing you are going to need, as shown right here, please get out your Springboard English Language Arts book. It says, it actually says that on the cover, it says grade 6, and then it has a picture of a dried up dead leaf, which I thought was interesting for the choice of the cover of a book, but there you go. So there you go, and that's what you're going to need for right now. And the next thing you are going to need to do is please go ahead and head on over to Google Classroom. And you're going to go ahead and go straight over to your language arts class. So that's right here, whoops. And then you're going to click classwork. And I've added a new document that's going to stay at the top because you are going to need to refer to it often. So go ahead and click that open. And it's Steps to Critical Reading. And then hold on one second. Hold on one second. Yeah, I'm sharing. You can't see anything? Can you guys not see anything at all?
I can see it. With the words that said get the springboard.
You know that happens with your class, but not the others. Let me go ahead and try again. That's really weird. Here, now can you see it? Thanks for interrupting. I appreciate that. Is that better?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. Do you know, it's so weird because my other class, that does not happen. It's always just shows whatever's on my screen. Okay, so I'm going to start over. Sorry for those of you who have to hear it again. So you're going to click on your English Language Arts class right here, period 5, Miss Mangle, and then go ahead and go to class work. And at the very top from now on, whoops, shoot, where did I put it now? You're going to have important stuff always tagged at the top, or things that you're always going to need. Now, these are never really going to be due because one of them is just our daily instructional videos. But this one, marking the text, we are going to do for the rest of the year. Even if you're not in my class, you will still have the other teachers that are going to be using this. So this, you're going to go ahead and open Steps to Critical Reading. It's nothing that you're going to turn in. It's just going to show you some steps. So keep that open, as well as your Springboard English Language Arts book. Okay, so a few of you just entered. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to find that book. You may write in it, but I definitely suggest either erasable pen or a pencil, and that way, you know, you can erase the marks that you make mistakes with. Okay, so go ahead and do that. About 20 seconds to find your book if you still don't have it out. Okay, guys, so we're going to start using this book starting today. And if you can all go ahead and open your books, please, to page, let's see, to page 4 and 5. I'm going to have my screen periodically on and off, depending on if I'm reading or not. The text is really, really small for me because it's the teacher's edition, so it's so tiny. So let's see. For those of you who are just entering, you do need to have your Springboard books out. Haley, I see that your hand is up. Did you have a question?
Okay. I don't have the book because I'm on vacation.
Okay, so then you'll need to do this when you get back. When did you get back, sweetie?
Tomorrow.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You can still just listen, okay? Because we'll be reading some of it out loud. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at previewing the unit, and it's activity 1.1. Some of the, and then we're going to go over the things that you need from the article that you just, or the information that you just pulled up. So in Unit 1.1, we are going to, the essential questions, there's 2 things that we should be thinking about while we're doing this entire unit, and that is, how can change be significant? Means important. How is change really important? And how, What makes a good story? Thank you, Beth. What makes a good story? Those are two essential questions as we go through this unit. So we're going to start with narratives. Let me know what you guys know about narratives. What's something you know about them without really looking at the book? Maybe you don't know anything about them. That's completely fine. But what do you guys know about narratives? Anyone want to put their hand in the chat? Okay, so it looks like, okay, Aiden, what do you know about a narrative?
Well, it's like so it's somebody like reading like what happened, like or telling what happened to you, or what happened to the characters.
So it sounds like you're saying it could be, if it's happening to you, is that fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Right, it's nonfiction. So narratives can be nonfiction. Think of a story that someone's told you about their life that was actually real. That's a narrative. Now, what about, can they be fictional then, Aiden?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It can be nonfiction or fiction.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a look over at page 5 where it's talking about narratives. And I'm going to go ahead and read that out loud to you. So it says, the following passage is an example of a narrative. Narratives can be made up or based on real events. Generally, a narrative includes elements such as, so we're going to go ahead and underline or highlight the following. Characters. So they've got to have characters in them. Dialogue. So this is when you're reading them. When you're telling a story, we usually don't say dialogue because it would be weird if someone's talking and then, but sometimes you do actually say the dialogue. You'll tell what somebody said. Setting. So it's going to include the setting. Where did the story take place? And it will include the events or actions that lead to and follow a conflict. So I want you to think of a story that's happened to you in your life, a real story, something that you're not going to share it with us right now, but that you could. Maybe something really funny that happened. Maybe a time that you and your cousins got into a lot of trouble because you did whatever. A time that you were really scared. Stories with big emotions, like really, really fun times or sad times, scary times, funny, really funny. Those make really good stories. The ones that are kind of in the middle, they don't really usually make that. They don't usually make amazing stories. So narratives are usually about things that involve strong emotions too, okay? All right, so preview. In this activity, you will read a narrative and identify the elements of character. So we have to identify those. You guys are going to identify the elements of character, the setting, the dialogue, and the conflict, okay? All right. So setting a purpose for reading. As you read the narrative the first time, underline the words and the phrases that indicate when an action of the story is taking place. And think about the events in chronological order. That means as they happen. So chronological is the time order. Like first this happened, second this happened, third this happened. Okay? Next, you are going to put a star next to the changes that the character and his family experience. Connor, do you have an actual question? Connor, please unmute. Connor, please unmute. Okay. Do you have a valid, real question? Because I've asked you before not to raise your hand many, many times because it makes my screen, I can't see my screen. So do you have a question?
Can I go grab water?
Okay, guys. Can Connor?
Because if I leave, I might miss something important.
You might. You guys, you are in your own homes. I am not going to tell you when you can and cannot grab water. I'm not going to tell you when you can and cannot go to the bathroom. You may do whatever needs to be done in your own homes. So you have to make that choice. But going forward, Connor, like I said on Tuesday, push the hand one time. once. I know it's possible because in all of my classes, everybody just pushes it once. Okay, so just push your hand when you have a question, hit the hand one time.
Okay.
Now you can go back to mute, please. Thank you. Okay, so, and finally, circle any words you do not know. Guys, there's going to be a lot of words in here you don't know. Here's the good thing. They're right on, usually they're right, you can find them next to the story. So to the left, on top, underneath, somewhere there will be a definition for you for most of these. So you're not going to have to go looking for by yourself. You're also going to be working in groups. This will be good. So we're going to do the first couple paragraphs together, but I already can't remember what we're supposed to be doing. How many of you already forgot? Underlining, starring, circling. How many of you forgot what's what? Be honest. Okay, yeah, me too. Haley raised her hand. Haley, I really did already forget. I'm going, I don't know, there's too many things. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a key for ourselves. I'm going to show myself now. And this is what I did for my first period. It made it way, way easier. So I made a key. If you guys look right here, there's some space for us that's blank, which is really good because now we can write in it. So what I did, I don't know if you guys can read that. Aiden, I can see you. Can you actually read my writing? Or is it?
Oh, we can't, Sandy. We can't send it's like frozen.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm going to stop sharing them for a second. And then I'll see if I can get you to see this. Okay. Put it on speaker view real quick, and then you guys can see this up close. So I made a key because that really was too much. I don't want to have to go back every 5 seconds and look. So if you guys can write that down.
I can barely see that.
Really? Am I on speaker view? Because if I'm on speaker view, it should be your whole screen. So go to meeting, scroll down.
You can please, because their screen keeps turning on when.
Guys, hold on. Sorry, whoever was talking, it was really hard to hear. Go to meeting, and then scroll down and put me on speaker view. Put it on speaker view, and then you'll be able to see this better. So at the bottom, I wrote some notes for myself, and I'll read it to you also. But if you can see that or screen capture it real quick, that will just make your life easier. So I'll tell you what it is. The first thing you're going to do is write down, put a star next to changes. That's it. So I actually physically wrote a star and put the word changes. Anytime that the family changes, you're going to star that. The next one, a circle. Circle any unknown words. So I wrote a circle and then unknown, and or phrases, or if you don't understand something, circle it so we can talk about it later. And an underline mark means action, when something is taking place. So the action of the story. So underline words and phrases that indicate when the action of the story is taking place. Okay, now what you're going to do is you are going to go back to, let me screen share with you guys, this page. You should have this page up. We are not going to do every one of these today because this is going to take us way too long to do. But today, I want you to know that this is how we usually read. We are going to do a pre-read of the text, which means we're just going to look at it, see, is it fiction? Is it nonfiction? What kind of story is it? What's the purpose of this story? We're going to number the
Where do we find it?
We are going to number the paragraphs. So if you guys, now luckily this text actually does that for us. So go ahead and turn the page to page 6 and 7. And you will see that they're already numbered, which is good because whenever we have to do it, for some reason, we never end up on the same paragraph with the same, the right numbers. So it's already done. That's really good. Now, usually, not today, we're going to read to ourselves and we're going to do this by ourselves. This is not the time to do that because it's brand new for us. We're going to do this together. Normally, you guys are going to do this. Connor. That is it. I'm going to have to ask you to go now. I give you a chance, and then that was it. So that's it for today. This is being recorded. I am going to let you back for social studies, but you are going to need to finish this lesson on your own. And I'm sorry to tell you, it is a hard one today. So meet us back here at what time? 1:21, but you do not get any more chances going forward. So please come back and be ready to learn. Okay. For everybody else, thank you guys so much. I understand this is not the most exciting thing in the world. It will be. We're going to read one of the best stories I've ever read in my life soon. But that comes after learning this, okay? And then we're going to read that story. It is so good. My kids would get so mad at me for stopping last year when it was time to stop reading. They would beg for more chapters. So I hope you guys feel the same way. So right now we're going to read a story called The Circuit. And what you guys are going to do are just the first three things, okay? You are just going to underline any action that's going on. You're going to star anything, any of the changes happening in the story. And you are going to circle anything that is unknown. All right, so let's go ahead and come back together. I'm going to stop sharing, and we'll share my screen sometimes. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I am going to go ahead and start the reading. And the question is, what makes a narrative? Okay. I'm going to read about the author. Francisco Jimenez, 1943 to now, was born in, and I actually don't know how to say this, and I need to look that up. I'll have to look it up. I'm sorry. In a city that I cannot pronounce in Mexico. I promise I will look that up and share it with you very soon. And he grew up in a family of migrant workers in California. He spent much of his childhood moving around California with no permanent home or regular schooling. Yet despite incredible odds, he went on to have a distinguished academic career. A graduate of Santa Clara University, he also attended Harvard University and received both a master's degree and a PhD from Columbia University. Those are two of the top schools in the whole United States. Those are some of the top schools in the world. So it's a huge accomplishment. A longtime writer of academic works for adults, Jimenez's entry into writing for young people came through an award-winning story, The Circuit, based on his childhood. So is this a fictional story or a nonfiction story? Is it fiction or nonfiction? Lucas.
I think it's nonfiction.
It's nonfiction. Now, he might have added some details that he forgot about, and that's perfectly fine. But this is based on his life, so it is nonfiction. This is a true story. Okay, Brayden?
I know how to pronounce the word that
you do. Can you let me know, please?
Like the city in Mexico. Tlaquepaque. It sounds weird, but it is.
Tlaquepaque? Tlaquepaque? Can you say it? Say it one more time.
Yeah, it's hard to pronounce sometimes. Tlaquepaque.
Tlaquepaque. I like that. I love that name, actually. Tlaquepaque. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. All right. So we are just going to do the first two paragraphs. The only thing you're going to do right now, because there's really no action that's happening yet and there's no changes happening yet, you're just going to circle the words you do not know. So get ready. I'm going to read. You guys are going to have your pencils out. All right. It was that time of year again. Ito, the strawberry sharecropper, did not smile. It was natural. The peak of the strawberry season was over, and the last few days of the workers, most of them braceros, were not picking as many boxes as they had during the months of June and July. As the last days of August disappeared, so that the number of braceros Sorry, this is so small. As the last days of August disappeared, so did the number of braceros. Sunday, only one, the best picker, came to work. I liked him. Sometimes we talked during our half-hour lunch break. That is how I found out he was from Jalisco, the same state in Mexico my family was from. That Sunday was the last time I saw him. Okay, so there's definitely at least One word you probably don't know, so circle that. Even if you were able to find it, go ahead and circle it. Can anyone share what they any words that they did not know within that text? So, Faisal?
Yeah, so I have a question. So when you put a star, what does that mean?
So did you make a little key for yourself?
Yeah, I did. But what does it mean? What do you mean by changes? Like,
so go back to page 5. If you guys don't know either, go to 5 real quick. And where it says setting a purpose for reading, it says put a star next to the changes that the narrator and his family experience. So they're going to experience a lot of change. So you're going to just star anytime there's change. So far, there's no change, unless maybe you saw some change. I didn't, but that doesn't mean it's not there. So Lucas, what did you circle?
I circled sharecropper.
Great. Most kids don't know what that means, okay? So if you look though to your left, Lucas, luckily the words that are in bold, you'll always be able to find the meaning. So go to the left and it'll tell you that a sharecropper is a farmer who farms another person's property in exchange for a share of the crops or for some money from the sale of the items, okay? So they either get some of the crops or they get some money from when the person sells the items. Okay, what was another word you didn't know? Did you guys knew? Dean.
Braceros or something?
Right, braceros. And if you look over here on page 6 at the top where it says word connection, content connection, right here, you will see that it explains what that means. So go ahead and take a minute to read that part. And then when you figure it out, can you please raise your hand to share that with the class? So what is a braceros? A bracero? Rohan, what is a bracero?
it's one who works with an arm.
With his arms, that's correct. And so back then, that was a term for people that, it says right here, for many Mexicans who were invited to come to the United States to work as laborers during the World War II. Okay, with so many Americans overseas at war, workers were needed in industries such as agriculture and rail transportation. Braceros often worked under extreme conditions for very low pay. The United States government bracero program ended in 1964. Okay, so you will usually be able to find the words you do not know either to the left or to the right or at the bottom of the story. Okay, now it's your turn. You are all going to, while we're still just sitting here, you're going to just read paragraphs 3, 4, and 5. Now you should be able to circle and star some things. Okay, so circle some words you do not know and star. Remember, when you're going to star it, starring is for changes that the narrator and his family experience. Okay, so go ahead and work on that. I'm just going to turn my camera off for a second so I can read it. You're going to read it by yourself and circle and star the items that you need to. Okay, when you are finished, you can put your hands in the chat if you had anything to circle or if you had anything to star, if you'd like to share with the class. Brayden, can you please share one thing you either circled or starred? And tell us what paragraph too, please, sorry.
One thing I circled in paragraph 2 is Brady Rose, or yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that was one that we had gone. Thank you for sharing that. We went over that a few minutes ago. Were there any new words that you guys didn't know in 3, 4, or 5? So Lucas, did you star or circle anything?
I starred in paragraph 5 when they were moving to Fresno, or like when they explained that they were moving to Fresno.
I starred the same thing. If you starred that too, that's great. That's a perfect example of change. So the family is going from where they are right now to Fresno. And the really important thing you need to know about that was that the narrator was feeling so sad about it, or so upset at the thought of having to move to Fresno and knowing what was in store for him, that it brought tears to his eyes. So we know that he has really strong feelings about this. He does not want to go. Okay. All right, let's see what time it is. I think we're out of time. Let me look real fast. Okay, we've got just like one more minute. Was there anything else that you starred or circled? So any unknown words? Okay, so we're going to actually stop for right here today. And I'm giving you a break slightly early, but I'm still just going to give 3 minutes so that we can come back and you'll have lots of time to work on your early human project. So go ahead, and it is 1:16. So let's come back at 1:19. Okay, so in exactly 3 minutes, come back, and I will see you in 3 minutes.